Hello and welcome to this week's episode of the Qualcast. This is the official Qualbert.com podcast. In fact, it's the best one on the website. And this week we're going to be chatting about a whole bunch of different topics with a bit of a focus on indie games this time with the Nintendo Indie World Showcase having just kicked off last week. And there's a whole bunch of cool announcements, so we'll be going through those. We'll also be chatting a bit about what we've been playing and reviewing recently, and then what we're looking forward to over the next month of games. And in this episode, we've got a great range of members from the Qualbert team. Of course, there's myself, I'm Qualbert. We've got Leigh, aka Sir Lemsip. Hello, Leigh.
Greetings all.
Thanks for joining. And we have Matt or Valkian.
Hello, hello.
And last but not least, there is the wonderful Rio.
It's the wonderful Rio.
It sure is. In fact, we're all pretty wonderful. I'm not gonna
Speak for yourself.
Yeah, I guess so. It's all just banter. We're all friends here, and we're also all fans of indie games. And let's just get stuck straight into our first segment. It's the Indie World Showcase. And again, I think a lot of people were anticipating potentially some very big reveals with one particular game that people keep waiting for.
I'll be real, as soon as I saw the news for the Indie World thing, the first thing I did was just go to Silksong Reddit and just see what the temperature was.
Was it blowing up?
It was despair was the temperature.
Oh no.
I mean, personally, I had my hopes, but at the same time, I kept my expectations low, so I wasn't disappointed.
Yeah.
Plus, considering that it's actually coming around at Gamescom very soon, I feel like it couldn't just be popping up there as like so soon and the like. So if it didn't appear to direct, I didn't expect it to be appearing at Indie World either.
Well, from the Indie World Showcase, like what was people's highlights? Like, I might jump over to Leigh. Was there a game from it that stood out to you at all?
There was a few that interested me, but I think the one that jumped out the most because of the art style and what they were talking about was Neverway, which looked like a cross between a lifestyle farming sim, but in this like Lovecraftian horror setting. It's art from the team that did Celeste, music from the team that did Fez and Hyperlight. So it's got a great team behind it. It already looks fantastic.
Yeah, it definitely got my attention as well.
Yeah, I kind of remarked it's like a Persona-like almost. You have like two very different phases where you have like a gameplay phase where you're in this crazy world and it's more like lighthearted social instead of like a dating sim, it's more of a almost like a Stardew Valley like is what it looks like.
Yeah, the other game that jumped to mind was Cult of the Lamb. Like it had that kind of feeling to it as well, and that was a great game.
It's just like quite a satisfying gameplay loop where you get a bit of action, but then you get the contrast of like story and world building, and I feel like they complement each other really nicely.
Yeah, and it looked like it'll be super funny, but also have that gruesome side to it. So yeah, a bit of everything
that
I like.
Color palette as well, like in the reveal, like all like the sort of light purples and pastels, and I don't know, it looks really aesthetically pleasing and a bit mysterious at the same time.
Indeed.
The pixel art though, like that's the standout. Like that is just, I mean, we only saw short snippets of the game and like the cinematics and everything, but like it's beautiful.
Yeah, but even some of the gameplay sections where there was like one of the combat sections, there were all these like little minions attacking, but there was this massive like figure like hanging over the top. Like, yeah, it looked really good. Yeah,
I just strayed away from the visual side of things, like one of the character portraits, maybe something like, is this in relation to Celeste? And like, oh, it's under the same art team who did Celeste, so like...
Yeah, you picked up on that like immediately.
Yeah.
How about you, Matt? Was there like a single game that you're keen on?
Well, aside from like some of the obvious ones like Mina the Hollow, which we might actually talk about, there was this one that appeared that I didn't expect to see out, that I'd never seen at all, called Glacier, which is kind of like an
Yeah.
underworld sea action RPG, which at first I was thinking like Abzu meets Echo the Dolphin, which is a bit of a strange way to go about it because you're undersea, but you're also going around saving critters and also attacking sharks, which I'm like, okay, this is actually kind of interesting. And then when I looked up on Steam, I was like, oh. It's actually coming out later this year, so like that's very interesting. And it's also coming out to the Switch too, so like, okay, that'll be kind of interesting. Just wondering how they'll get it to run because it looks really good. What I can tell, like being in this underworld and this underwater land, like going around just doing all those kind of things. I didn't look too deep into it. It's just that visualistically, it was like had a very interesting concept, and also just the fact that you're like this weird dolphin-like sea creature kind of thing attacking sharks. What else is there to say?
Yeah, and not just melee. There was like lasers and shit too.
Was there?
Yeah, it was like ranged attacks.
Yeah, there's like a range and a combat and a close combat attack.
Yeah,
it's like that's just like okay, you got me.
It did give me a little bit of Monster Hunter vibes, like in terms of like the combat and like I don't know, just the movement of it. Because some of the Monster Hunter games, particularly Try. The one on the Wii, like that had a really heavy focus on underwater combat.
I never did underwater combat in the Monster Hunter games, so that's kind of
surprisingly good. And it seems like the devs of this game maybe have taken a little bit of inspiration from that. So like, I'd be keen to give it a go too. How about you, Rio? You only just recently watched it, so fresh in your mind.
I did, but probably the biggest standout is one I've had my eye on for a while, the Tiny Bookshop, which Zara's getting to review from the Qualbert team. I'm so jealous of her, but it's in capable hands with her for sure. Even though it was like this really quick little highlight, I'm still like so excited. I bought it last night.
Nice.
Yeah, I can't wait to play when I have free time and I can't get through my backlog. I'll be able to get to it, but no, I'm definitely I played the demo and was really enchanted by it. Just the way that you basically are a bookseller, you can sell books, and the goal is to like optimize what genres you have to the location you have. So a lot of kids hang out at the beach, you want to have kid books that day. A lot of like university students read nonfiction, you want to make sure you're stocked with nonfiction books. And the cool thing is like most of the books are actual real world books. So like if you are a book nerd in real life and like books, you can actually like recommend books to NPCs very well, because just like a little mini game where somebody will want to play somebody will be like, oh, I'm in the mood for this, I'm looking for this genre, and you can use your real life understanding of books, be like, oh, I think you'll like this one, and it's just like really validating, like yes, my nerd interests of reading and video games are coming together into one. Perfect.
That's awesome.
Wow. I mean, I thought it'd be like, like fictionalized versions of actual books.
No, they're all real books. Like, and you're in manga as well. Like, there's Attack on Titan in the book. Like, there are
what?
Yes,
really?
Like, yes. So there's a combination of manga, YA, like nonfiction books. So like, there's if you've read like a fairly popular book, it's pretty likely you'll find it there. Like, I found books I read from my childhood in there, like Inkheart by Cornelia Funk. I was like, oh my god, Inkheart! So I think this game will do very, very well. Like, in hopefully getting gamers, maybe some non-gamers who are like, oh, I like reading, but I'm not a huge gamer, but I might try this. So that's very exciting.
And maybe vice versa too. Like people who are into games stepping into books, and people who really enjoy books trying out this game and like getting exposed to more of it.
I love the idea of somebody going on Goodreads and being like, oh, I got recommended this book via Tiny Bookshop. Like, the blurb sounded really interesting. Yeah.
How would they have gone about the licensing for it, though?
That's
like
a really
including all these real world titles? Like, that would have been a huge effort.
Well, I assume that some of it would be like in the public domain in particular.
True.
Like,
yeah, all your old books, like if there's like Moby Dick and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, but there's some that are very like there's like R.F. Kuang books, like she's a modern author, like from the last few years. So yeah, that's very good. I if somebody could interview them, I'd like to know like how's or maybe it's like, I don't know, does it fall under fair use? Because you need to like if you have like the lyrics of a song in a book, you have to like reference the song. I don't know. Very interesting.
I mean, you're using the actual title of the book. I don't see why it would.
It's free advertising for them.
It is free advertising. It's a title and also like a blurb summary, and these are all original blurbs. I'm pretty sure that they've done. So clearly, people who made these books like really like books. So gold star from me.
Does it allow you to burn every copy of Twilight Is that something I can do?
That's maybe a mod you can install.
Okay, I'll look into that.
I think Twilight is in the book, though. If I recall from the demo, I think it is in the book and in the game.
Oh gosh.
Well, you got me sold.
Yeah.
That's really cool. Like I'm now very intrigued about this game. I knew nothing about it.
Yeah, no, just
honestly.
you can check out the demo. It's on Steam.
Very cool. I might give that a look. As long as Lord of the Rings is in there, is there any
Oh, there's
Tolkien?
Yes, definitely. Yeah, I remember there being some.
Surely.
Just any popular book you've read will probably be there. Maybe some uncommon ones too.
No, that's awesome. I'm keen to read Zara's review for it. I know both of you probably would have reviewed it if you could. Sounded like you're both very keen.
We just have two combative reviews.
Yeah.
Fight.
I've seen people do co-op reviews on sites here and there, so like, why not?
Yeah.
We try to do that.
Way when I'm not busy, but yeah.
If there's a game like where we're fighting over in the future, maybe several of us can review. I know there's going to be some JRPGs. You and I will be fighting for, Leigh. So
Surely, but particularly if it's stuff like Sea of Stars that was free on PSN and Game Pass that we can just get
That's
anyway.
true, actually. Yeah. I would say the game that jumped out at me most from the showcase was one that I knew pretty much nothing about, but it's Ball Pit, or Ball X Pit,
Ball times
or
Pit.
Ball times Pit.
Equals who can say?
Yeah, like I don't know.
I think the dev guy that introduced it said Ball Pit, so I don't think.
Yeah, just Ball
Balls
Pit.
Yeah.
That makes sense. But oh my god, like it's such a cool game. Like I jumped on the following day on Steam and downloaded the demo, and I think I played the demo for like 3 hours.
Oh wow!
I played the demo for myself, and I can attest it's actually really good. Probably not as long as Qualbert here, but still, yeah, it's really cool.
I've always been a massive fan of Breakout and Arkanoid, like those sort of classic brick breaking games. They're a formula that I can't fault. Like I played a ton of them as a kid. So anytime I see a game that kind of takes that formula and experiments with it and mixes it up and adds in different genres, like particularly elements of like Survivors style games and roguelikes, man, like I'm sold on this. I'm going to be spending so much time on it when it comes out.
The only problem I had when I played the demos is of like, oh my god, is this going to keep going on and like,
and it does.
That's the problem. It does, which is both a great thing if you're into that sort of thing, but if you don't like, spend too much time on it, then like this is probably not going to be for you.
Yeah, like a single run in this game, because essentially you pick a character and you have to go through like waves of enemies, and the enemies come down like little bricks, and your character shoots out little like pinballs that sort of bounce off the edge of things, and as you kill more enemies you get crystals and you level up, and then you can pick different balls, like ones that are on fire, ones that shoot out mini ones, and like it's kind of very similar to Vampire Survivors in that regard. But a single run takes like 40 to 50 minutes. Like there's a lot of gameplay. It's not short.
It just feels simple enough, but it just like has a lot going on to it. And also mentioned like the varying enemies you have to face upon. And also sometimes like the levels kind of shifts as well. You can get like wider or narrower.
Yeah, it expands as you go on. And like I'm sure there's going to be a lot more depth to the gameplay in like the full release. I mean, just the demo itself sold me. So yeah, it's so cool. Very much that like quirky experimental style of game that Devolver often publishes. So yeah, like they're just smashing it with indies over the last few years.
They rarely miss.
I know.
Devolver is usually the best from what I could tell.
Yeah. I love their approach to everything as well. They never take anything seriously, and the games that they're willing to publish are sort of pushing genres forward.
I'm still waiting for them to drop Skate Story already.
Skate Story?
Yeah, that's a game that they've been working on for like so long now that
Devolver's
really publishing out. It's kind of like a very story-driven kind of skateboarding game.
Yep.
where you had to like face demons and like you made it like a character made of glass.
The art style was kind of like Tron-ish, wasn't it? It's like very like light line.
Kind of, not really, but it's kind of hard to explain.
Yeah, I've
Just
seen the
let's look
trailers.
up a trailer
It looks
and you'll see-
interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
does.
Cool. There was a few other ones that popped up during the showcase as well. That looked pretty cool. I have heard so many people over the last year talk about UFO 50.
Yeah, I was going to call out that one too.
50 games in one. And like apparently so many of these games are absolutely incredible. Like from like varied genres. There's a full on like 40-hour RPG in it apparently. So that'll be for you, Leigh.
It kind of reminded me a little bit of this game called Retro Game Challenge on the DS, which is actually based
I know the one.
which is based on the Japanese TV show, and it's like a collage of like different retro style games put together, but where this one but UFO 50 is like done by different developers.
Yeah.
And like it's all expanded upon it and so forth. And I played a bit of it on Steam and like, wow, this actually is pretty neat. Even if some of it is like, you'll find a favorite in there. It just depends on like you have to go through all of it, which can be a bit daunting for some people. But hey, they're usually small bites and they're pretty well designed. So
man, that's value for money though.
Yeah, and just in that sort of 1 minute trailer that we got, there was a game. There was a bit that looked like Blaster Master. There was one that looked like the old Super Dodgeball game. There was one that looked like Psycho Fox. If anyone's played that, that's a callback to the Sega Master System. That's an old one.
Also, just sometime after the Indie World happened, it announced it's getting a physical release from Fangamer.
And Fangamer are actually one of the good sort of smaller independent game retailers as well. I really like Fangamer. They're certainly far better than Limited Run.
Yeah, they got their start in Starman.net, old Earthbound stuff. So I'm very familiar with them.
Yeah, I was also very happy to see Go-Go Town on there. So Go-Go Town's one from a Brisbane developer, Prideful Sloth. They made Yonder, Cloud Catcher Chronicles, and Grow Song of the Evertree. And yeah, just very cool to see a local game in a international Nintendo showcase. They really deserve it too.
I was surprised to see content warning appear at the Indie World Showcase, considering that that was like one of the many co-op games. It was like, oh, it's out for free, and now you have to pay for it afterwards. And now it's just like, oh, now it's coming to the Switch and Switch too. It's like, okay, let's see how that goes.
It's the friend slop genre is making its way to Switch. And you've got a bit to talk about with Friend Slop as well, I believe, Rio.
Just a little bit.
Yeah, you've been playing some Peak. We might actually move on, unless there's anything in particular other people want to shout out from the showcase.
Well, there's also that one game that was doing the sizzle reel called Opus Prison Peak, which is actually part of a series of visual novel games called Opus. So like this, like they're called Opus, but they have like a different subtitle. And this is branching from the 2D to a more 3D-esque to a more 3D generalized kind of visual novel, but yours has photography kind of used into it. It's like, oh wow, this is kind of interesting.
Well, that's going to appeal to you.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, me as a photographer, of course. So
yeah.
I haven't really played any of the other Opus games, considering they're pretty high price as like a few other visual novel games. But this looks like just really reaching out to me, like hoping that I don't have to require like playing the other Opus games to make sense of this one.
Do you know if they're connected or are they standalone?
I have no idea. I haven't looked in too deep into them to make that assumption.
Yeah, aesthetics wise, that's one that jumped out at me as well. It had almost like a Studio Ghibli kind of vibe to it.
Kind of.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing exactly like that, but in terms of the characters and sort of this, fantasy-ish setting,
it does feel a bit familiar to that one game you've been playing, Ben, lately, which is a kind of a visual novel-esque mystery game.
Well, there's our segue. Yeah, like I've been playing quite a few games. There's a couple on the website that I have played. So I went through Donkey Kong Bonanza. I won't go into detail about that as it's been pretty widely spoken about, but it was quite fun. And yeah, I played Catto's Post Office as well. That was adorable. Very short indie game. You can finish it in about half an hour or take your time and kind of admire everything in about an hour. But that one was made in Brisbane, and it's been quite popular, which is great to see. We've got a review for that on the website. But what's been taking up most of my time over the last week is little quirky sort of sci-fi murder mystery visual novel called AI: The Somnium Files.
Ooh.
And
Oh yeah.
I'm a big fan of Kotaro Ichikoshi, who is the writer and director of the series. He's also the writer and director of the Zero Escape trilogy, which is 999, Virtue's Last Reward, and Zero Time Dilemma. I personally think these are some of the most well-written, compelling narrative games ever made. Virtue's Last Reward is a masterpiece, and I think anyone out there who enjoys visual novels or sci-fi narrative needs to play it. It is incredible. So yeah, I was kind of surprised I didn't get stuck into Somnium Files sooner. But the most recent game in the trilogy, No Sleep for Kaname Date, weird name, but yeah, that's the name of it. So that's the third game in the series. It dropped like 2 weeks ago, and I've always had my eye on the series, being like, oh yeah, I want to check it out. And to sort of coincide with the release of the newest game, they heavily discounted the first two. So I got the first one for 90% off on the eShop, which is nuts. It was $60 down to $6. And this is like a double A, high production value visual novel, fully voiced, like anime cutscenes, like 25 hours of gameplay. For $6 was just a steal, so I was very happy with that.
Bargain.
I still have my physical copy of that game, actually.
Oh, nice.
Of the first one, that is.
I'm sure they get more valuable.
I'm pretty
Probably
sure,
hard
but
to track
I never got around to getting the sequel physically though. But I do have it on Steam. That is, as I did play quite a bit of it on my Switch, but I never got around to finishing more of it. But I do agree with one of the things you said on your Twitter, that it does get a bit unhinged with some of the
It
dialogue.
gets so unhinged. The main character of the game is an absolute seed, and like he's a detective, and like has to do things very professionally and like investigate murders, and like the story is really intriguing, but like throughout the whole thing it's also like scattered with a lot of like incredibly seedy moments and like just downright ridiculous. I won't spoil the ending, but oh my god, the ending sequence, if you ever do play it, Matt,
I will.
so stupid. But in a good way. So yeah, I'll probably be jumping into the second one, and then I did reach out to the developers because I'd like to review the most recent one if possible. So yeah, but yeah, it's very, very compelling, but very silly, so Japanese. And yeah, one other thing that I did review was Weapons. Have any of you guys seen it? I don't want to...
I saw the trailers and it didn't look good, but apparently it's good. I think it's just very hard to make a horror movie look good in a trailer, so I'm very happy it's a good film,
you don't want to give too much away
Yeah,
either.
I guess not.
I wasn't really sold on the hype that is, so that's why I haven't bothered to see it.
Yeah, I haven't had the chance, but I'm interested to see it. I haven't had a chance.
Like
yet.
I would recommend it. I mean, yeah, I've got my review up there, but most people aren't going to want to spoil it too much for themselves. But it's a very, I don't know, how do I put it? It is incredibly suspenseful. The director is so good at like just leading you up to a suspenseful moment that leads to nothing. So like it has you anticipating something in fear that's not really there. And I think that is the biggest strength of the movie, because like I personally love seeing horror movies that genuinely do make me feel scared. I don't know whether it's like an adrenaline rush or something. And like there were moments throughout Weapons that managed to do that. Like it's not gore and it's not jump scares. It's like purely anticipation.
Yeah, jump scares are cheap horror, but yeah, when you've got that build up and tension and
It's
what's
so
what's
awesome.
gonna happen. Yeah, that's what you
Yeah.
want. That's what you want.
I had a really good time watching Bring Her Back for the site a bit ago, and that was great to watch in theaters. I watched it first time in theaters. I watched my boyfriend again in theaters. So good to see reaction. So I am keen to try and see it, just so I can
think
hear
you'd
these
enjoy it.
reactions. Yeah.
Like bit of a plot twist, and the tone of the movie does change a fair bit as it progresses. But yeah, it's a good watch for anyone who can stomach a bit of horror.
Yep.
You looked like something was on the tip of your tongue there, Matt.
I did. Oh, you called me out. I did hear from some people I did hear from some people that actually do enjoy Weapons, but they think it's like one of the funniest movies of the year. I'm like,
Yeah,
Ooh.
I don't want to spoil it, but there's a scene towards the end that is like so chaotic. It's hilarious.
I mean, I laughed pretty hard doing Bring Her Back just because it's just so
'Cause you're a
over the top.
sicko.
Because I'm a sicko. I'm sick and twisted and dark-sided and evil.
was a little bit unsure about to bring her back because I don't know if I like it more or worse than talk to me.
Bring Her Back, it took me a bit. It had to grow on me a little bit. At first, I was like, no, I like Talk to Me better. But as I thought about it, and maybe it was because I was reviewing it, but I think Bring Her Back has like slightly more to chew on, and I quite like it. Both are very good.
Is it on streaming yet? Because I do want to watch it.
I'm not sure. Although I will say the bit with the knife had me cringing.
It was awesome. That was a bit I was laughing at.
I won't say any more than that. If you know, you know.
Yeah.
I will watch it. So I'll keep an eye out for a knife.
But the Philippi brothers are great for their craft. That is.
Did you know they're in Death Stranding too?
Yeah.
I have known that.
Yeah. Kojima's just like scanning all his favorite filmmakers because he's a film guy. So that's
He's
why.
catching them like Pokemon.
Yeah, he is. He's collecting them. We won't go to the Death Stranding 2 chat just yet. You've got a fair bit to chat about what you've been playing recently, Rio. I might shoot over to you.
Yeah, I might skip the middle one just to like keep it brief, but let's start with fun stuff first. I've been playing a lot of Peak. That's been like quite the big game the last month or so. Huge, and for good reason. I was a bit skeptical.
I just bought that game today, actually.
It's great. A great time to buy it because a new update came out. It's like quite
Also,
difficult
it just
to
got
get.
discounted.
Yeah, it did. It's quite a bit difficult to get running. Like, you have to try a couple times, figure out what settings work for your computer. But once you do, I think what I like so much about it is it definitely is a game that just baked into gameplay. It's just built on collaboration. Like, even though you control your, like, fellow climbers, it very much, like, incentivizes you in all aspects of the design to help each other. If one of your comrades like gets knocked out, you can pick them up and carry them up. Like, you get a huge boost if you reach down and pull somebody up by the hand. If you go too far apart from people, you'll spawn in a cryptid like creature called a Scoutmaster who like attacks the person who's like straight away from the group. So very much you want to stay together. And yeah, I beat it for the first time last weekend with my partner, and that was really fantastic. Like, I was like, oh, we're not going to make it this run. We're not going to make it. And then we just kept going.
So
and
there
going.
is like a end
Yes.
goal?
So there's like, yeah. So you're trying to reach the peak. So like you go for like different biomes. The finale, peak spoilers, like not really, like you're climbing up this volcano, and then you reach the end. And once you beat it, there's like, I forgot what it's called. I don't know if it's different like alpines or antes, but you can climb it again and again with like different difficulties, making it more difficult, and you get like badges and sashes. And I think the biggest thing that also makes it so collaborative is that everybody gets the same map, and the map changes every real world day. So every 24 hours, like the new procedurally generated map appears, and I think it's even baked into the collaboration with the people online and just being like, oh, what are your tips for climbing this? Like, people on the Reddit will be like, oh, look at this map was crazy today, did you guys see this? Or like, I found this route was best. So I think that's really good how it incentivizes collaboration. So that's what I've been playing for fun.
Cute.
And the game I've been like toiling through for the last bit has been The Altars by 11-Bit Studios, which has been in a bit of
hot water.
Yeah, a bit of hot water, to say the least,
Yeah.
with some very blatant ChatGPT usage in its thing, which I'm writing a whole article about my thoughts on. But as for the game itself, I think the biggest thing that struck me that was very interesting about it was it is very clearly a development from their past two games. The game that put them on the map, I think in 2014, was This War of Mine, which I can best describe as like, it's like The Sims, but all your Sims are really sad because war is happening, and like you have a phase where you're inside this dollhouse essentially like taking care of them, and at night you can send one of them out to like gather supplies, and you continue this game loop, and that's very much in The Altars. And then you have the game they made after This War of Mine, Frostpunk, in 2016, which is this city builder and this post-apocalyptic, this like big winter that happened, and you have to like build up the city and take care of people, but they're always arguing about what they want. You have to try and please everybody, but you can't really, and trying to fight off starvation. So those like gameplay elements of like survival, keeping people happy, resource management, like making sure people are working for their allotted time, sometimes pushing them a bit further even when they get mad at you so you can fulfill the task. I think that is like a very mature and interesting distillation of all these gameplay elements. But they're first doing it like a real story, because like in those past two games you're not, there's not really a player character. You're kind of like the player character in Sims 3 who is God. Like you play as God essentially. But in this one you are playing as a main character, John, who has to clone multiple versions of himself to survive after he's been stranded on this planet in order so he can get back home. And I think I was discussing this with a friend of mine, and I think the biggest issue with the game is that the more choice you give a player, the weaker your story will always be. Because the core conceit of The Altars is that you have to make clones of yourself. But you, other than the first clone, which you always get, and arguably, which was the technician, and the second clone, which you kind of have to get if you want to beat the game, called the scientist, which it doesn't tell you, but you need to make the scientist if you want to survive. You only have access to 4 other clones, and you can create them in any order, and there's a pool of like I think 10 or 12 clones you can make from. And because you have like all these different people you can recruit and different storylines, the game makers can't predict every combination of guys that you have in your ship, and so there's story beats that feel like people should be interacting with each other more often, or kind of I kind of really wanted it to be a bit more like a Disco Elysium, except your thoughts were actual characters, and like it was very much self-reflective on like John as a person. But we didn't quite get that. I think it was like a big swing, and I appreciated how different it is and what they tried for it, but it didn't quite hit for me. I know a lot of people really, really dig it, but I think I think it could be a bit more thematically rigorous, is what I'll always say. But yeah, but still like AI stuff aside, I think like gameplay was like is pretty robust. But yeah, I think the story and characters is just where they fall a little bit flat. But yeah, I'll definitely be discussing that whole debacle. I'm working on a feature, just like summarizing it and kind of what I think it means for the industry.
Yeah, keen to have a read of that. I think very, very topical for anyone involved in games.
Totally.
I do have one comment to make about The Altars, and it has to do with the cover art. If you didn't know what the game was and you took the title off, you'd be thinking it looked like something straight like a promotional material for like some British comedy series.
Yeah, like I wish it was funnier. Because here's the thing: there's this animated short that they made to promote the game. It's made by, I think it's by the same team or a very similar team. You know those animated Baldur's Gate 3 shorts that they made to promote the game? They made a similar one for The Altars. I don't have the same animated or the same style. But oh my god, I was like, wow, I wish the game was like this animation, because the jokes are so good. All the characters interact with each other. John actually shows, I think John is just like, because he's the player character, he's just kind of like very milquetoast, very like white bread kind of guy. We're just like, come on, guy, give me a little bit more. But in this short, he's like playing off all the other altars very well. They have strong personalities. I'm like, I wish the game was a bit more like this, just like had a bit more bite and characters were a little
Wish
bit
it
more.
was like the promotions.
I wish it was like the promotions. What can you do?
When you said animated shorts, I can't think of the Kid Icarus ones on the 3DS.
No, not
Oh
quite.
man, they're so good. They're
Yeah,
so So
that brings me back.
the banter between Palutena and Kid Icarus.
His name's Pit.
Oh, sorry. I'm not a Nintendo fan. I have a copy of it right here. He's
You
Kid
do.
Icarus.
He's holding
Look
it at the
him.
screen in the 3DS box.
You can hear the rattle of the.
Does
of
it
the
say
box. I'm not
on the
editing
back
that out.
anywhere? Does it say pit on the back of the
It
box?
says, "Battle with your friends. Take to the skies as an angelic warrior." He doesn't even get a name mentioned.
Damn.
He's just an angelic warrior.
It's like calling Samus Metroid.
And it says Kid Icarus. It doesn't say Pit Uprising.
Did you play Smash Ultimate?
No. I hate Nintendo secretly. All of this is a facade. Yeah.
We found a fake fan in the chat.
Damn.
On the topic of hating Nintendo, here's Leigh.
What kind of lead-in is that?
Well, you've been
Oh,
playing
man.
Shadow Labyrinth and not enjoying it, and that's on a Nintendo platform.
That's a bit hard. Well, I'm playing it on PS5, but yeah, I wouldn't say I'm hating it by any stretch. But I just, when I'm playing a game for review for the site, I'll take some notes and just to remind myself of things that happen when I go to write the review later. Yeah, and I think I was like 2 or 3 hours in. I hadn't written anything yet, and I looked at my phone and I was just like, what do I feel about this? And I just wrote one word. I wrote mid. And that was because it's like, it's good, it's well made, it looks good, there's some interesting stuff happening, but it's just I just don't feel a drive to go pick up the controller and play it. It almost feels like a chore to go and play it. And it's, when you're playing it, it's okay, but it's just mid is the best way to describe it.
I'm disappointed to hear that, considering I was actually kind of interested in it, since it really spawned from the idea of a secret level short, on Amazon Prime, and then it became its own game. And I was like, okay, a dark Metroidvania style game with Pac-Man involved. How this is going to work out? And what I've been hearing is just like it's just not as good as it could have been.
It's like some of the level design is just repetitive, and then there's sections that are just not fun to play. It's got that whole Metroidvania thing of, there's like a grappling hook kind of thing that you're going to get the item for at some point, but it just takes so long. It's just the pacing of the game is so bad. That's probably the biggest issue for me. If they gave you more, traversal and weapons and things to do earlier on, it would like keep you engaged. I've got so much stuff to do. Where am I going to go next? But the first 4 or 5 hours is just bland and boring. And by the time you start getting some of the cool items where you can go and backtrack and unlock more stuff, it's just like you've already lost the drive to play, or at least I had. So
yeah, and I mean, there's so many good Metroidvania games out there the last few years, like some incredible indie ones.
Definitely,
So,
like the one we were talking about earlier.
Yeah, and like
That'd be Hollow Knight.
even there's been others that, like, there's Well Dweller as well. God,
Oh yeah, we didn't mention Well Dweller from the Indie World Showcase.
no, that looks pretty
that
cool.
one looked
Yeah.
good. Yeah.
Looked better than Shadow Labyrinth. What does Pac-Man do as well? Like,
So
is it
yeah,
like
so there's a couple of different things that he does. So
Navi?
he's kind of like your Navi for most of the game.
Yeah.
But then there's sections where they're like kind of like the morph ball runs in Metroid Prime. There's
Yeah.
because it's all 2D, but there's magnetic lines that he can hook onto, and you sort of become him and like go through these sort of maze sections, which are okay, but it's not really that fun. It's certainly not anything we haven't seen before. And then last night when I was playing, I beat this boss and it unlocked this sort of computer terminal thing, and I was like, okay, what's this? And it like dragged you in, and you basically play some Pac-Man levels, like actual 2D Pac-Man in the maze kind of
That
levels.
alone made me think of the game Yars Rising, which is another Metroidvania game using an old IP. Where I guess you have those computer terminals in that game, and you're playing like the old Yars Revenge from the 2600. Like, that's an interesting way to incorporate an old game into a new one.
Yeah, and that was probably the most interesting part so far, because it had like the first level of that computer terminal was literally the level 1 Pac-Man map. Like it was exactly the same. And I was like, okay. And then that level finished and it sort of morphed into this similar Pac-Man thing, but there was like moving blocks, and you used the ability that you have from the normal levels where you're on the metallic lines and you can like jump from one to the other and like hook on. But it was like that in Pac-Man. So I was like, doing that to go and get the dots and jump into the ghost. So it kind of evolved that. And I was like, why didn't they have more of this? This is like 10, 12 hours into the game. And this was the first time that I had this feature. I was like, why have they left it so long before you started? It just had
It
someone...
sounds like it's a bit padded.
Yeah, I looked up because I wanted to know how much longer do I have to bash my head against this before I can write the review. I was like, how long is it? The Google AI was like 30 to 40 hours. And I was like, oh, why is it so long?
No.
Like a good Metroidvania should be like 10.
Maybe 10?
15 maybe, if it's like really interesting. That you can finish Super Metroid in an hour, and that is like literally peak Metroidvania. Like that is Metroidvania, so.
Yeah.
Can I just quickly say an anecdote?
Yes.
You saying Google AI reminded me of something. I was Googling something about Peak the other day, just trying to find out something about the differences in the difficulty levels. And the first website I clicked on was explaining it, and I immediately knew it was AI generated. That was an AI generated article because they said like,
Gross.
oh, like in this next one, this level, in this difficulty, it affects your hunger and thirst. And I'm like, there's no thirst meter in Peak. This is AI generated, and you can tell via the list.
Good old AI hallucinations. Yeah.
Yeah, no. So I'm just like, the way I just like clued into that. Yeah, I was like, gotta be careful. Be careful.
Don't
You're
you dare visit that website again.
I won't. I definitely won't. I was like, well, they don't know what they're talking about.
Please only get your gaming information from real people.
It's like Qualbert.com. Like Qualbert.com. We gotta write a Peak review now. Damn.
So Shadow Labyrinth was really dragging on, but fortunately you gave me a palate cleanser in the form of Off, which is a remake or a re-release of a game. I think it was 2008 when it first came out on PC, but it's now on Switch. It's a weird RPG from a single French developer, and it is weird and fun and.
You're talking like Earthbound weird, or
it looks very Earthbound. Like it even looks like Earthbound in some ways. It's hard to talk about because it is quite short. I think it's only about 5-10 hours long. But you play as like a baseball batter. Like the character's name is Batter, who's like just awakes in this world, and there's like specters, and he's like, I need to purify the world, but there's this like weird devil cat thing. That's already like the first half hour of the game, and it's very short. But yeah, I'm having a lot of fun with that so far. Definitely more fun than Shadow Labyrinth. So
yeah,
I'll probably finish that first.
I'm actually looking at it now. It gets me more of an Undertale vibe.
Well, it was made before Undertale.
Yeah, but it was before Undertale.
It's an Earthbound-like.
Yeah,
so.
Maybe they took a bit of inspiration from it.
Maybe.
So Undertale's an off-like, actually.
Off-like. Oh, there we go. New genre. New genre coined.
So yeah, if you like Earthbound and if you like Undertale, it's kind of halfway in between. So
somebody who was on Tumblr in like early 2010s, there was a lot of off-posting. I remember very clearly once it got to its because it was originally released in 2008 in French, but it was translated in English in 2011, and that's when it got very big.
Yeah, cool. It's good to see that, like, this is well and truly an indie, like, it's solo dev indie, but, like, clearly there's enough interest in it to sort of bring it back, and it sounded like they've added, like, some sort of new content and maybe, like, sort of quality of life updates as well, like.
Yeah, I mean, I never played back in 2011, so I can't say what's new and, what's changed, but, yeah, no, it's been a lot of fun, so, yeah. Enjoying it.
Oh, cool. Looking forward to that one. Sounds far more interesting than Shadow Labyrinth already. Yeah, have you started on Shinobi at all, or not?
No, I have not.
Booted up yet?
I have not. I'll finish off, and then I'll probably move straight to Shinobi and leave Shadow Labyrinth just sitting in the
I am so jealous of you that you got the chance to review Shinobi.
Look, honestly, if you're not busy, if you've got nothing on, then you can have it.
No, it's all good.
Oh. Sounds like there might be a fight for this one.
Well,
and there might be 1,000 deaths on the way to that fight.
Well, before we get to that, there was actually one other review I should probably mention. I forgot to list that. Is that, of course, that being The Drifter.
Oh, yes.
And the Australian point-and-click adventure by Powerhoof, the two-man team. Yes, I should have to mention that because it was the PAX Indie Rising winner from 2023, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
And it was, if you love the old school point and click adventure like the LucasArts era games like Monkey Island and all that, you are going to enjoy this one. However, it's pretty difficult. As in, it doesn't really hold your hand, and I had to use a guide for this one to solve some of the puzzles I had to go through. But it was, and luckily it was spoiler free, so it doesn't tell me the entire story. Because to me, it's really hard to talk about the story in this game without spoiling anything.
Yeah,
in particular. But I do know it's about like a guy who is like a drifter, has no home, and he plans to return to his old hometown to reconcile with his wife for his mother's funeral. But then things just kind of go a bit crazy here and there, and it comes there's this weird time travel kind of angle to it.
No way, there's time travel in it? I love games with time travel. Come on, Leigh. Chrono Trigger, like Steins Gate for me is like
Outer Wilds,
the best.
Yeah, there is a bit of a time travel angle to it, but it's one that plays into the style into Death in a way. But I'm not gonna say any more than that. You can check out my review for more information about that. And we'll get to the other game that I just finished reviewing not long ago, which is 1000 Deaths, which is pretty much of a 3D, those speed running kind of platformers you see at QDC at Games Done Quick, and all that. It's kind of like that, but has a better, interesting angle in the story mode, where each episode you can actually do branching paths. So you actually help like a character going through a dilemma, and you have the choice. So it's like, do I go this way or should I go that way? And they're actually pretty replayable as well as along with the stages, that is. And it all comes to like, to like themes of like betrayal, respect, death in the end, of course. But it also makes sense with the total 1000 Deaths because some of the stages can be quite challenging with all the pitfalls and all the designs it has going through it, which are pretty well made, and mechanics are like simple but very well refined to the point where it's like it doesn't need any more than that.
Did you find it challenging?
Some levels, yes. Especially some of the more challenge levels, which you don't need to progress, but are there if you enjoy that kind of thing, which can lead into the arcade mode, which you actually can go back and actually try and beat the level as quick as you can, or collect all the collectibles before you get to the end. So it offers a bit of replayability. It's just that the problem is though is that it can be a bit short for those who want something a bit more meaty with their platformers. Like, what I'm trying to say is, like, don't expect, like, the amount of levels you would see in something like Super Meat Boy or Celeste. Considering this is also a first-time game from a company called Pariah Interactive, who are usually known for doing XR visual presentations, like, so is it extended reality? Is that what it's called? Extended reality? Yeah. So like VR, augmented reality, kind of cross paths. More like so basically they're a group of artists, and this is like their first game. And for a debut game, it's actually pretty promising, and I'd like to see them more. Because the concept itself, while it doesn't utilize to its full potential, I still think it's cool enough as it is. But also the visuals make it look like a lost Nickelodeon cartoon. In a way, because of how trippy it is and all that. But it can come across as a bit of a disadvantage for some people because some of the levels you go through can be quite twisty-twirly, that the camera can be a little bit twisted around, which can cause a bit of motion sickness. So it depends, like, if this is kind of your cup of tea and you actually can handle it, go for it. But if not, then choose something else.
I think it's going to fall into one of those categories that, like, really appeals to speedrunners. Like, so many of these, like, very run orientated platformers end up getting like cult followings, and you do see them played at like Games Done Quick. So
definitely. And as for the game I'm actually kind of playing for the moment, I'm still playing for more Donkey Kong, just haven't got around to doing more of that. But I've also been playing I actually started Ninja Gaiden Ragebound,
which looks awesome.
Yeah, it looks great.
It is pretty awesome, but the problem is though on the Switch version it only runs at 30 FPS.
A game like that you would want to be fluid.
Yes, I mean, I'm assuming because even though I'm playing it on the Switch too, I don't think it was like they didn't optimize it for the Switch 2 in particular. They only used it for the base Switch 1. But even so, it's like I've seen 2D games on Switch 1 like run fine. Like, what is it with this one in particular that's holding it back? I don't know. Hopefully they could do it. Hopefully, Lizard Cube, the developers behind the game, will actually do. Sorry, not Lizard Cube. I can't remember the company's name. We'll actually do an update for it. Actually, to actually make it more fluid. As I mean, it's still playable. It's still a great game. It's just that I wish it would be a little bit more fluid from the Next Fest demo I played.
Oh, I do want to give that one a go. It's good to see Ninja Gaiden really having like a bit of a renaissance.
Well, yeah, with
at the moment.
With Ninja Gaiden 2 Black and
Yeah.
Ninja Gaiden 4 coming out in October. Not to mention Shinobi, which we just mentioned, and also the re-release of Ninja 5.0, that limited run games actually collaborated with Konami to do earlier this year. The Year of the Ninja.
The Year of the Ninja sure is. Okay, lots happening at the moment.
Oh, I remember the developer. It was the game.
Oh, Game Kitchen.
Yeah, the Game Kitchen. Who did the Blasphemous on?
Yes. Oh, I mean they are just so good at like side-scrolling sort of action stuff. I loved Blasphemous.
Oh, I did too. It was actually the first game I streamed on Twitch a long while ago.
I've not played the sequel yet.
Neither have I.
Okay, maybe we should at some stage. I'll let you know when it goes on sale.
Yeah, I already have a physical copy of it.
Oh, no way. Okay, well, you got no excuse.
So what are you doing, man?
Life gets in the way, okay?
It sure does. And you know what got in the way of my last month was playing like 70 hours of Death Stranding 2. That really did get in the way. That ate a lot of my time. And yours too, I imagine, Lee. It was pretty expansive game.
Indeed. I felt because I had to do the review for the website, I didn't want to delay getting it up. So I think I smashed through a lot of sections where I just wanted to relax, and I'll just take this package over there and I'll grab that one on the way back through. But I think it was about 48 to 50 hours.
And that's a pretty quick playthrough, actually.
Yeah, there was a lot of things I didn't do at all. I know there was some secret bosses I skipped it. Like, I got the information. I was like, I know there's a dude sitting out there on that lake, but I'm not going to go and do it because I know I'll probably...
Oh, there's so much like optional extra content. And like I don't know if you guys, Matt and Rio, whether have you played the first one at all?
No, I have not.
What? Okay, we need to fix this.
Yeah, that's...
I know. I had it.
There's a lot.
I got my copy for Christmas a long time ago. I got the PS5 update. I even got it again for free on Steam and Epic Games. I've not gone around to playing through it.
I gotta say, the first one starts off slow, and like you really have to like take your time and appreciate it. And you are on foot for maybe about the first like 15 or so hours
of the first one. Yeah,
The second one, you
2 hours
get
in.
vehicles so soon. You can get around the continent so much faster. Like, I didn't even find myself having to rely on the zip lines like the first one.
The first game was like zip lines were like the main way to get around. Like, and you were like building your own and like connecting to the other players in the network. But yeah, the second one, you get the 3-wheeler. I think that's the first vehicle you get pretty early. And you're driving around that, and that goes quite fast, but it doesn't have much capacity. But then once you get the off-roader, the ute, the 4-wheeler, I literally didn't use anything else other than that. Like, even the cool hoverboard corpse
the
fucking coffin thing, like doing that. Like, I didn't even do that. I didn't do that at all. I knew you could do it, but I was like, I want to be able to carry 20 boxes of stuff.
I gotta say that off-roader did reduce the difficulty of the game. I found myself being able to get through from start to finish without like any sort of major challenge, really. Like, it was more so just like explorative, and like I find Death Stranding quite a meditative game. Like,
definitely
just getting out there, you can put any of the tracks in the game on and just wander, which is probably like one of the biggest perks of the game for me.
Yeah, being able to choose your own soundtrack, just put onto the Wilder on repeat over and over and just have that playing.
Man, so good.
Such a good song.
That track is like so much of the stuff from Woodkid, and I've not really like heard much of him before this. He had a couple tracks in Arcane. It's got like very distinct, like deep baritone voice. But like the music that he has made for Death Stranding 2 is so gorgeous. Like, particularly that like choir version.
Yeah. Yeah, part of me feels bad for a lot of Death Stranding 2 and the developers and the musicians and the voice actors, because I feel that Claire Obscura is going to sweep all the awards at the end of the year. But Death Stranding 2 any other year would sweep itself. Like
I know.
I've had the immense luck of being able to review both games for the website. And I was like, wow, I finished Claire Obscura and I was like, this is game of the year. And the next game I reviewed was Death Stranding. I was like, my God, this is basically as good. Like, there are parts of it that are better. Like, it looks better. Death Stranding 2 has got to be the best looking game ever made. Certainly in terms of facial animations.
Those environments.
The opening scene where it's just like, he stands up and he's looking over the mountains and you're like, oh, this is a sick cutscene. And then it's gameplay.
No.
It's gameplay. You're like, this is not... Like, yeah, okay, it's PS5, but even on the base PS5, like, I don't have a Pro.
It's
still
insane.
just looks so good.
When you guys play it, you will understand what we're talking about, because, like, just the realism of Death Stranding 2 there's no other game at the moment that matches that.
By all means, when you want to buy me a PS5, Ben, you're more than welcome to.
I've got two.
What?
Oh.
No
One's a
excuse
pizza,
then. Come
though.
over.
It's a pizza. Just up here. You can see it in the background. You can't hear it though, but it's a one-of-a-kind pizza PS5.
Oh my gosh. Perfect. Great. Done.
As I was saying, I was pretty impressed on how they have the Australian representation into the game. Not just only having George Miller in the cast, even though
Love
he's obviously
George Miller.
only body scan and facial scan, not so much acting, but the locations and the wildlife, and of course having the Philippou brothers on there as well.
Yeah, so cool. I actually never got to meet them because they are a completely optional location. I believe they're
I
like
didn't see
right
them
at
either.
I think they're at the very top of like the center mountain, which I gotta say, the map design is weird because, like, yes, it's set in Australia.
But you can get around in like an hour.
Yeah, I mean, it's like a contracted version of a continent, but the geography doesn't match Australia in the least. Like, when do we have this colossal snowy
Snow
peak?
mountain. Yeah.
Yeah, like in the middle of the country that divides the country in two. Like, I know it was for gameplay purposes, but from like an Australian standpoint, it wasn't really Australia at all.
Yeah.
I was saying, like, I would believe it was like more in the south, but not so much in the up north region. That is where it's more taking place.
They did have like big sand dunes and stuff in the northern
Yeah, there's
region.
a big
like,
deserty part, yeah.
I love the animals though. Like seeing all the animals around the place, like going across somewhere and you're like, oh, there's a koala in the tree, or like I ran into a bilby.
Chasing
I
after
ran over a
emus.
few Tasmanian devils, accidentally
Oh
killed
my
them.
gosh.
Sorry. They blend in.
Yeah.
And then you get like negative 100 likes because you ran over an animal. I had no idea.
Their population's already
Wow.
being diminished due to like a cancerous like endemic disease, and you're only lowering the numbers now by running them
And
over, Ben.
Norman Reedus.
And Norman
He is
Reedus.
a Tasmanian devil murderer.
Oh. You know how I actually found out that the Philippou brothers were actually going to be in the game? Because I remember years ago, like for the Instagram story, like when Talk to Me was coming out, Kojima was probably so much of a fan of that movie
Yeah.
that he actually invited them over to Kojima Productions in Japan and did the whole facial scanning and getting the likeness into the game and all that. And like, yep,
He
it was gonna be
is
later
just
on.
a big fanboy. I swear he's like, oh, like, I like that director. I'm a huge fan of them. But I'm also one of the most like notable people in the whole games industry. So like I can just bring them into my studio.
He's just collecting all these actors and filmmakers like it's Pokemon.
He's
Yeah.
got his favorite streamer on there.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, it's very much.
Like
I think
the virtual streamer.
Kojima's probably at the level of fame where like he can just like say like, yeah, I just want my favorite streamer, my favorite little guys. I just want an excuse to meet my favorite directors.
And they'll say yes.
And he'll
But,
get it.
yeah. And look, anyone that's played any Kojima games, from Metal Gear Solid onwards knows, but it's the
Not
way
Rio.
that he directs the cutscenes and those big story moments. It's like you're watching a movie. Like there is no other game that gets even close to what he does.
I've learned that from playing games in the Metal Gear Solid series, so like I'm not surprised.
It's just shocking. Like, and because it's Norman Reedus and Leigh Seydoux and these amazing actors, and it looks exactly like them. Yeah. Like you forget that it's a game. You're like, oh, I'm watching a movie.
I gotta say, like the actors just did such a good job too. Like the voice acting, like seeing Elle Fanning like in this like supernatural sort of role as well.
Yeah,
like,
her character is so good. I loved her.
So cool. Yeah. Like George Miller as well, like piloting this tar spaceship. Like it was so awesome.
Yeah, and all the returning characters as well. Like, it's the game does have that, like, previously on Death Stranding, if you haven't played the first game, but you should go play the first game because there's so much that you miss from not playing it.
And it's me, Dead Man, the best character from Death Stranding. Yeah. You remember me? I'm dead. I love that.
And of course, just all of the normal Kojima weirdness, like the doctor with the chiral hands. Like, just how do you come up with stuff like that? It's just like, I don't even. How does someone think of this?
I was skeptical about Dollman. So for you guys who haven't played it, it's like your companion throughout the entire game is a sentient doll who's attached to your hip, and he just talks to you, and like he gives you like motivational speeches, and he is so pure and so wholesome. Like there is just a little ray of sunshine with you throughout the most depressing moments of the game. Dollman is just pure gold.
Yeah, and the way they animate, like it's almost like stop motion. That makes him differ so much from everyone else in the cast as well. Like you just focus on him whenever he's on screen.
I love Dollman.
Yeah.
Like at first I was like, what the fuck is this doll? I don't want this in my game.
But and then you find out the backstory too, and you're like, oh my god.
Please play Death Stranding too.
But yeah, in terms of the gameplay as well, like it doesn't evolve that much from Death Stranding 1, but every element of the game improves on what Death Stranding 1
so
did.
Polished.
The driving is better. The combat is very much better. Like that was probably the biggest weakness of the first one, but there's a lot more of it. There's a lot more variety. There is a bit of repetition.
Sequences as well.
Some of the bosses, it's Metal Gear Solid
badass
bosses. Yeah,
I'm just speaking of Kojima. I just rewatched the OD trailer that was shown like over a year, like over 2 years ago. So
yeah, that's got to be next.
And I was like, when is that going to come around? Has Jordan Peele said anything about it? And he's also got that other game coming out, which is like an espionage name, with a title that starts with the letter P. I can't remember how it's pronounced. But like, okay,
I don't know.
But like, okay. I'll do that with Death Stranding too. Let's see what you're going to come up with this, especially with OD, since I'm very keen for that, especially with some of the people involved and how cryptic and bizarre that trailer was.
Yeah, like that'll be one that we'll all be watching. And like I'm sure they have been working on it behind the scenes, like for sure. Probably during Death Stranding 2 development. So
I mean, at least it's not the one that hasn't been cancelled by Microsoft yet.
On the topic of Kojima, we might move on to our last segment, which is games we're looking forward to over the next month, because we're running out of time. We're going overtime as per usual. So we'll move on to the games we're looking forward to playing over the next month, and we're going to kick off with Rio. What are you looking forward to playing?
By far, the game I'm most excited for next month is Consume Me. This is an indie game that has been in the works for a couple of years now. The developers escape me at the moment. But basically, I played the demo for it. You play as it's basically like a life sim as a teenage girl. It's like here we go. It's like Turning Red, but it's WarioWare mini games.
What?
You play as this teenage girl who she's growing up and is being pressured by her mom that she needs to lose weight because she's eating too much, and it's just like captures this perfect moment of just like teenage just anxiety about your body, self-image issues, romantic relationships, friendships, trying to stay on top of like school the way it just balances all that in these very hectic mini games, this very like fluorescent style. I am so excited to play the full thing when it comes out. I think it's already going to be such interesting statements to make on like how young people who, especially people who have eating disorders, try to like gamify themselves, be the best versions they can be, and literally through a video game. I think there's going to be a lot of very interesting metatextual things going on there. I'm just very excited. A lot of people are going to write some really interesting analysis on it, and I hope I'm among them.
That is such an interesting combination of like such a serious theme and then like gameplay wise, you can't get anything like more wacky than micro games.
Yes, it's like very, very wacky but very serious, and I'm very excited for it.
Oh, I hope we can get your code.
Are they as wacky as WarioWare, where you're like plucking nose hairs and stuff, or is it the
you're
mini
like
games
doing,
themselves?
You're doing your makeup. You're quickly like scrubbing your bathroom. You're walking your dog in this very like Nintendo kind of mini game, trying to collect money and avoid poop. So like very hectic and zany and fun,
yeah.
but also very serious
That
topic
sounds
of
good.
just like, this girl shouldn't be doing this.
Yeah, WarioWare doesn't have that like core, like emotive, very human narrative.
What if
to it.
Wario had an eating disorder, guys? What if he had an eating disorder?
Oh, he does. No, that sounds very quirky. It'll probably hit a lot of people who play it. Let's move on to Leigh. You've got an interesting game I have never heard of. What is it?
Yeah, this one's snuck under the radar a little bit. I believe it was a Kickstarter, like way back, 3-4 years ago, early in its development. So the game I'm looking forward to is called Quartet. Surprise, surprise, it's an RPG, JRPG. It looks like it's pixel art, very retro styled, and it looks like it's going to be sort of a cross between the early Final Fantasies with a bit of Octopath, because there's four in Quartet. There's four main characters, and you can choose whichever order you want to do their stories in, and they come together. And then I assume the last section of the game you play with all four,
merges them. Yeah,
but yeah, just your turn-based combat looks sort of FF10 style, where you can switch out characters. So then maybe there's other characters that join the party, because it looks like you can the ones that aren't in the four on screen, you can switch in and out during battle. A magic system, airships. It looks like a classic RPG.
Quintessential JRPG.
Yeah, so
right up your alley.
Yeah, as with most RPGs, I try and sort of avoid too much preamble spoilers. Yeah, and I think it's only a couple of weeks away. 26th of August is the release, so quite soon.
Oh, you're going to be going on an airship yourself right after.
Yeah, I'll probably have to wait till I get back from my trip.
What's it on? Is it like?
It's definitely on Steam on initial release.
Yeah.
There is a console version coming out at some point. I believe Switch, possibly PS4, 5 as well. But I believe they're sort of late 2025. So yeah, but it looks great. Yeah, check out the trailers if you haven't seen it. It looks like the kind of game you would enjoy also.
Yeah. I know, I just wish I had all the time in the world to play every single JRPG. That's the problem. How about you, Matt? You've got one that you're looking forward to. I'm pretty sure I know what it is.
Oh yeah, Lost Soul Aside, because this game has been a long, long, long time coming.
Yeah.
This is made by
How long? Is it like a decade?
10 years in particular, actually, and I'll tell you why. Because this was originally as a passion project by Yang Bing, a Chinese developer, who actually was inspired by Final Fantasy 15. And while that was going through a bit of a long period of development, he decided to start working on the game in 2014. But then he showed off a trailer for it in 2016, like a bit of a proof of concept kind of thing, and it got such a huge, widespread attention that he got getting offers from different companies, and eventually got one from Sony, which led them to forming the China Hero Project, which is to help Chinese developers get their games off running. So he took the deal, got to set up his own company, Ulti Zero Games, and it's been working hard on it ever since, and eventually been announced for it. Originally was meant to be for PS4. They did have a demo for it at a PlayStation event in 2017 that I know a friend of mine in New York actually went to try out, and he was very excited about that. But since then, we haven't heard much about it, aside from a few small doses of trailers here and there, showcasing more of it. And now since it's coming to PC as well. And so it's coming. So yeah, and now finally it's actually coming out. It was meant to come out at the end of July, but then it had a bit of a delay to the end of August. And it just looks really crazy from what I could tell. Like, it's definitely like this. Like, we've been seeing a bit of a comeback of the character action game. With of course, like with Devil May Cry back in 2019, we had Bayonetta 3 that came out a few years after that, and also we got Ninja Gaiden 4 coming out later this year, and now with this. Stellar Blade, of course, so we had that before as well, and there's also a few others as well, which I can't remember from the top of my head. But yeah, it's this one's been like really, for me personally, I've been really excited for it because it's been such a long time coming. However, because of the delay, it's sort of squeezed against another game that I know that you're looking forward to, Ben, and which we'll get to in a moment. And like, I'm not sure. I mean, like, considering that there's not much marketing out there for this game in particular, it's like. It just feels like it's going to be a tough sell for a lot of people, to see this coming out. And like, because already it's a bit niche enough as it is, like visual-wise. Even though it looks stunning, I can't see a lot of people be racing into it unless you're big into character action games like I am.
Yeah.
So it's just hard to say. And also, like I said, with that other game coming out around the same time, it could be dwarfed.
Yeah,
so it doesn't
tough.
give much of a marketing
competition.
Push,
yeah, it's hard for your double A's to sort of find a good window because there's so many big AAA releases these days. Like what do you want to go up against? You sort of have to
it's every
pick your
month.
slot.
Like there's not a significant gap between releases now. So and not everyone's got the time to be able to play like multiple pretty hefty games every single month. So you have to pick and choose. I hope Lost Soul Aside turns out to be positive. I know games like that tend to go through a bit of sort of troubled development, and I expect the scope of it would have changed significantly, starting out as like a small passion project to being like legitimately published by Sony.
Yeah.
So like surely they have belief in it as well if Sony's willing to do that.
And plus, I think Sony really needs something like of a new IP to latch onto, considering they've always been focusing on like just not just. I don't mind them continuing new IPs, but we've seen too many re-releases and remakes from them, and like the last big thing they did, Days Gone.
Yeah,
I mean, you got some new things going for it, but like what else? But what else? It's just the same game that we have on the PS4, but just now looking a little bit better than what it was already done before. So like, okay,
yeah, there has been a lot of remakes and remasters, and yet they're still pretty popular, and there's that very big one towards the end of this month. So we'll finish off with that.
We've been hinting off that, so take it away, Ben.
Yeah, so that's Metal Gear Solid Delta, Snake Eater. And yeah, anyone who's played the original Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater knows how impactful that game was. I think it still holds up as one of the best games ever made. Incredible cast of characters, really emotive story. Essentially, it's a bit of an origin story of Snake, but also Snake and his bond with his mentor, the boss. Surely people are at least somewhat familiar with the story at this point. I mean,
well, I have to say this is like the one of the two Metal Gear Solid games I have not finished.
Okay, well,
I don't think I finished it either, actually.
Oh gosh, guys,
I'm thinking back.
What am I doing?
I've definitely played it.
I do have the Master Collection Volume 1, so even if I don't get this, Metal Gear Solid Delta, I can always fall back onto that one. But with this one, it's like this will be like a great way to introduce for the not to the newcomers, but also for those who played the original, but with a new fresh coat of paint.
Yeah, I think the big change obviously will be the visuals. Like we're talking like massively updated, taking advantage of far more powerful consoles.
I assume they're using the Decima /
No, they're using Unreal Engine 5.
Yeah, that's the thing, because like it has nothing to do with Kojima, and like Kojima himself has said he's not going to play it, and he doesn't really want anything to do with it, which is a little bit sad because it's kind of his magnum opus. Yeah, I can understand he would be a bit conflicted about the whole thing.
especially after how Konami mistreated him after during the development of Metal Gear Solid 5. And I get the feeling that he was probably glad to be free from that, so he'd be able to create whatever he wanted to make.
Yeah.
Like he did with Death Stranding, so...
but it makes sense that Konami still wants to see one of the most celebrated series of all time enjoyed by more people. So I think it will expose a lot more people to Metal Gear Solid.
And then they can make more pachinko machines.
Oh, goddamn. Like, that's what makes them money. That's the thing. Like, they're not just a gaming company.
No.
They are, like, gambling gaming.
Konami actually does more than just two things. Like, they have fitness clubs, they have this and that, and a bunch of other things over in Japan. So, like, they're not just a video game development studio and publisher. They're actually a bit of a big conglomerate of different of businesses.
They run like a ton of pokies here in Australia. I drive past the Konami office here in Brisbane occasionally, and I used to get really excited, be like, "Oh my god!"
Wait, they have an office in Brisbane?
That's right. I would get so excited. I'd be like, they're making games here. That's awesome. But no, they're basically distributing pokey machines.
Oh no.
Yep. Yeah, like I think Metal Gear Solid Delta, at least, it's not a pokey machine. Because I remember that, like, Metal Gear Solid 3 pachinko machine from a few years back with the stunning cutscenes. And you were like, oh my god, this looks amazing. I wish I could play this without gambling.
Yeah.
It's technically not gambling, according to Japan's anti-gambling laws.
They have their stupid way of getting around it, but... Although I am curious to see how it will turn out compared to like the Twin Snakes on the GameCube.
I love Twin Snakes.
That's the thing. A lot of people really didn't like the changes that it implemented over the original Metal Gear Solid. I personally think it makes it a lot more approachable.
Yeah, that's the main thing for me.
Yeah.
Particularly, like, you can go back and play Twin Snakes now and like, sure, it doesn't look modern, but you can play it. As you go back and try and play the PS1 Metal Gear Solid, it's like...
It's hard.
Yeah.
I actually just watched a video which talked about Twin Snakes in particular, and like he was pretty critical about certain things, but he didn't say it was like bad enough to the point. It was like, even you're still playing that what he considered like in some ways the changes don't really sit to what he appreciated about the original. You're still playing a good game overall.
Oh yeah, 100%. So yeah, we'll see if Delta sort of does the same thing, like modernizes it, makes it feel more polished. I just want to make sure that it's able to capture, I don't know, Metal Gear Solid 3 has such a... It is a very cinematic game, and it is very much like playing sort of a classic sort of Bond spy game as well, like the setting and just the tone of it. So I hope it doesn't lean too much into like action as opposed to stealth, but I'm sure they wouldn't mess with the mechanics too much.
Well, I get the feeling that like, they're trying to modernize the whole thing, and plus, since they're using like the old recordings, voice recordings and all that, I doubt they'll like add too much new to the experience. So it would not be like a complete shift to what the Twin Snakes did.
No, I'm very keen for it either way, even just to see more people talking about Metal Gear Solid again, because it's been a drought, and it's an incredible series. I know even without Kojima, it's something still that deserves to be appreciated. So, okay, well, that's it. Thanks to you guys for joining once again.
Always a pleasure.
Thank you, boss.
Big boss. Okay, well, we'll see you in the next one. Thanks, everyone, for listening. We'll catch you next time.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye.